Good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of the Artist Spotlight Show being brought to you by Blue Shamrock Music and Mr. Stephen Brady. Each and every week, we interview some amazing artists just like today. And I cannot wait to dive into the interview this evening with Mr. Rick Gay. And he has got an amazing stories to share with us, and we'll find out about that amazing story. We'll find out about where he's at right now in his music career. What's he up to? And we'll find out this and much more regarding our upcoming artists. So again, Blue Shamrock Music, if you're an upcoming inspiring artist and you're looking to get your name out there, check out blueshamrockmusic.com and look up Mr. Stephen Brady, and he'd love to meet with you and see if they can help you out. And again, our show is being brought to you by Music Dreams USA Radio. We are an iHeart radio station, and it's your friend Russell K. Make sure you join me each and every Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. right here on the Music Dreams USA Radio, iHeart Radio YouTube channel. And again, we're sponsored also by Titan Events Incorporated. When it comes to events and event planning, we have got you covered. All you got to do is just go to TitanEventsInc.com. That's TitanEventsInc.com. And the Rise Up Family with DeAndre the Torch Robinson. Make sure you join he and I on Facebook as we cover sports. When it comes to sports, we have got you covered. And now, without any further ado delay, let's go live now and meet our special guest. We're so thrilled to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, please meet Mr. Rick Gay. Hey, Rick, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Russell. How are you?
Doing great, and welcome to the show. And I'm so excited to have you. And as we were talking off air, had an opportunity to check out your background and what you're going through and so on and so forth. And man, you've got an amazing story, and I can't wait to dive into it to share with our listeners who are watching now and the listeners who will be watching later. So what do you say? Let's kick off our show. And would you mind sharing your story with us and kind of like bring the listeners up to date as to where you started to where you are right now?
Not at all, mate. Yeah, it's my pleasure to share it with everybody. Yeah, it's a long story. I started a long time ago with music. Naturally, I started music late in my life. I was 32 before I actually got serious about my music. When my children came along, I'd sing nursery rhymes to them, and then I got mixed up with a music club here in Toowoomba in Queensland, actually in Australia, naturally, and so I started writing songs after that and started winning songwriting competitions, and so I wasn't that serious at the start, but then when the kids came along, I got a bit more serious, and then when I started winning a few competitions, singing and songwriting, I got a little bit more serious. So then I joined bands. I was in several different bands throughout the years. And then I was in a duo called Rick and Kathy. That went for a long, long time. Did 2 Australian tours with Keith Jamison. I don't know if you know of Keith or not, but he died just recently. He was a great mentor for me. He was just so encouraging for me as I progressed through, and did 2 Australian tours with Keith. And on the last Australian tour, my voice was completely gone. So we did about 15,000 Ks and a lot of shows in that time. And we were on the road for 4 months. The last one we did, and anyway, my voice just cracked up. I just couldn't sing at the finish, and luckily my duo partner, she had to carry the shows at the finish. So when I got back to Toowoomba, and we broke up then not long after that, but I just couldn't sing. So I went to the doctor, and he said, "Well, this is beyond my expertise." He said, "I'll have to send you to Brisbane." So I went to see this Malcolm Broadhurst, who I spoke about before, and he said, "Well, your vocal cords are a real mess. It's going to take a lot to fix them, but I feel that we can." But I thought, no, I just lost all the passion for music at that time, and so I gave it away for 17 years. But then 3 years ago now, I had an aneurysm, and in the brain, the right hand side of my brain, and so ended up going to hospital in Toowoomba here, and then they rushed me through to Brisbane and operated straight away. They just whacked me straight in and fixed the 4-hour operation, 9 days in ICU. Then I got home, and my old mate Brownie, who I spoke about before, he recently died in a house fire. The poor old fellow, he was 89 when he died. But he encouraged me to get back. He said, you really have to get back into your music and doing the things that you used to love to do so much. You've got a new lease of life, you know, you've got another chance of life, so get back into it. So I thought about it and I thought, yeah, well, I will. But I had to get these vocal cord problems fixed. So I went back to Matthew and he said, righto. He hadn't put the camera down my throat again and had another look. And he said, yeah, it's an awful mess, mate. And he said, also, your tonsils are absolutely huge. They're like oranges. He said, so they have to go. That's hindering your singing as well. Another problem is, but the right-hand vocal cord wasn't meeting up with the left-hand vocal cord. And so he said, you're lucky that you can even speak, let alone sing. So anyway, he said, I will warn you that it's a horrific operation. It will be no fun at all. But if you're up for it, we will do it. So I said, yep, I'm up for it. We'll do it. So, and he was right. It was a terrible operation. I wasn't allowed to speak for several weeks. I wasn't even allowed to whisper for several weeks. And then after that, it came reasonably well. A mate of mine, Brian Linton, I don't know if you know Brian or not, he's a fairly famous country singer here in Australia. He said, well, he was going on tour, so he said, come with me. So, and he said, just sing what you can. He said, you don't have to do a lot, and if you don't want to, if you feel you can't do anything at all on the night, just don't. So anyway, we travelled all through New South Wales and down into Victoria and into South Australia and worked our way back again. And I'd do 2 or 3 songs a night if I could, 5 or 6 songs a night if I could. I got back and I was happy with the way it was going. But then I started, I'm just doing my first solo. I've just turned a solo artist. Well, as I said, I'm only 75 years old now, 75 in a few days' time. So I'm heading out on this new track now at 75 years of age as a solo artist. So I got in touch with a recording studio in Tamworth and we started recording, but the vocal cords cracked up again. So I said to Rob, the producer, I said, we have to stop. This is not working. So we stopped again. I went back to Matthew and he said, mate, he said, your vocal cords, they're centimetres, 3 or 4 centimetres apart. He said, yeah, you're going to have another operation. So I did that, had the next operation and went in and finished the album. So I'm happy with the way it's going now. It's been a journey like you wouldn't believe, but I'm happy with the way I'm singing. I'm heading out at the end of this month again on tour, just on my own. I'm going to Mitchell the first night, then I'll go up to Longreach, then up to Capella, then across to Rockhampton, then back across to St George, and then back home again. So I'm busy, very, very, very busy doing up a van at the moment. So I've got my own van to travel with. But as I say, just a solo artist now. So yeah, it's very exciting for me, but it's very, very nerve-wracking as well, being a solo artist after all the years I played with bands and with duos. I always had somebody to work off. Now it's just me. So I've got to take digs at the audience now instead of band members. Yeah, so that's pretty much the story.
So let me ask you this. So, I heard you say during you telling us your amazing story, and thank you for sharing that. So now you're going solo. I mean, as you mentioned, you used to play in bands, but now you're going solo. What's the difference between the two, and what adjustments do you have to make sure that your shows go as you expect them to go?
Well, I don't use bands anymore, so it's just me and my guitar. It's like a boxer jumping in a boxing ring. You're just on your own. You're just the sole entertainer. You've got nobody to fall back on, so it's just you, and it's up to you to make sure that the people are entertained. So that's what I should do. I add a little bit of humour into my shows as well. So, but it's just me, my guitar, and my songs. Mostly my songs. I do a few covers, but mostly the songs that I've written, which seem to be going okay, and the people seem to accept them okay. So that's good. So, but it's very scary for me for the start. And also, once I had the aneurysm, I'd lost my memory. And I used to learn songs, and one night I'd learn a song, I'd play it on stage the next night. After I had the surgery on the brain, I just couldn't retain anything. My voice, my brain became a rock instead of a sponge. So just to learn songs, it's just taking so much longer now. But I'm doing it, and I'm getting through them. And I just let the people know. I said, if I mess up on this song, well, just forgive me. Don't throw anything at me. So. And they're good. if I make up a mistake, well, they will laugh with me, and that's the only way I can get through it. Just laugh, and the audiences are great. So yeah, so there's not a problem now. But the learning the songs, that's the real problem. I had to learn a song that I loved, this song that we did it for years, but my ex-partner Kathy, she used to do it, called Ringer and the Princess, and it's on the new album, and I just couldn't learn it. It took me 12 months, and then I did it the first time in Tamworth at the festival a couple of years ago, and it goes for about 6 minutes, this song, and I didn't get through it. I got through it, but I just stumbled all the way through it. But the people were great, so as I say, learning has become a bit of a problem with me now. One of those bluegrass songs, Highway 40 Blues, it took me about 12 months to learn that, and the guitar work and that. But I persevered, so I'm getting there. It's been a journey, but I'm getting there.
Awesome. So now that we're talking about you performing on stage, how do you, if I was the first time coming to your show, what type of show could I expect? And the second part of that question is, how do you prepare yourself to go on stage?
What sort of a show would you expect? It's a mixture. It's a mixture of traditional country, modern country, a bit of folk. Yeah, so it's a variety show. Plus, I have some very, very, I think, good stories to tell that aren't quite true, but I make out they're true. So I suck the people in. They think this is a story. And then I hit him with the punchline at the finish. So yeah, so that's how I structure the show. I do a lot of practicing now because I have to. You would have heard of a bloke that we had in Australia for a long, long time, a bloke called Slim Dusty. Did you ever hear of Slim?
I have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Slim. I got to be friends with Slim, and he gave me a few pointers in my earlier career. He said, practice, practice. And when you can sing a song backwards, he said, then take it out and present it to your audience. He said, until you can do that, he said, don't do it. So I took that on board, and I just practice. I think it drives my missus crazy at times because why do you do so much practice? I said, well, because I want to be good. Basically, that's it. Yeah, so it might be a bit frustrating for her, but I love practicing. And I've got my music room, I set up the PA system, and I just practice song after song, and I practice a song. I don't know how many times I'd go through each song, but I just make sure that I can get up on the stage and I can do it without messing up. I think the people that pay to come and see you, they deserve to see a professional show. So that's what I try my hardest to present. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. Yeah, so I've had some good advice through the years. Keith Jamison was great. I don't know if you knew Keith or not. He died just a couple of years ago, but he was great. He was so encouraging through the years with my earlier years. So blokes like Slim and Keith and Brian Letton, and Lindsay Butler is another one that was so encouraging. Even when I lost the passion for the music through those years, they would say, mate, you've got to get back into it. You've got to get back into it. You won't have lost the love of it. It'll be there somewhere. You just feel like you've lost it at the moment. So, yeah, but it's back. The passion's back again now. And I was talking to somebody the other day about me being 75. So I'm 75 on the 23rd of this month. And he said, but it's not about the age. It's about the passion. If you've got the passion, it doesn't matter how old you are. So I thought, well, you're right. Yeah, so I've got the passion back. So that's good.
Well, I can't believe. Did you say you're 75 years old?
75 on the 23rd of. It's funny because I got on stage at Tamworth and a good crowd there, and we were talking about age and memory, and I said, old mate of mine, Terry Gordon, he has this saying that it's something that happens when you get older. Three things happen when you get older. First thing is you lose your memory, and he couldn't remember what the other two were. So anyway, I got up on the stage in Tamworth at the recent festival, and I said, now you people talk about age. I said, you won't believe that I'm going to be 90 on the 23rd of April. And they all went, oh, and some of them clapped and they said, oh, well done. I said, yeah, 90 years of age on the 23rd of April, 2040. And then they got it. They said, oh, you're a liar. Anyway,
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah, so
That's
it's all lighthearted stuff. It's just lighthearted. I like to keep it lighthearted.
So let me ask you this: how do you read a crowd?
Yeah, I used to make the mistake of looking at negative people, but I don't do that anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, so if somebody's sitting in the audience and they've got this negative look on their face, I used to think, oh, they're not enjoying what I'm doing. So now I don't. I focus on the people who are clapping and smiling, and so then I'm fine. And once I crack a few jokes, sing a few songs, and you see that they're lightening up, then it's good. You still there?
I am.
Yeah,
I'm hearing your
something just
story.
happened.
I'm about to ready to give you a surprise, by the way. So keep on talking. Buy me another minute.
Yep. Yeah, something keeps happening with his phone. So, yep. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. As long as you can still see me, that's the main thing.
Yes. But let me ask you this. So, um, you talk about, about your, just the different things you've done and you went through to get through come back to the music, something you love to do. And now that your voice is back, you're touring and you're going solo. I want to talk about your two songs. You have and also I know you have another song come out a little bit later on this year. Can you maybe talk to the audience about the songs and the new song that be coming up a little bit later on in the year? Can you maybe share something with us about that?
Yep, I'll talk about Just Fishing for a start. That's the first single that was released off the album. The album's called What a Great Country, and I've called it What a Great Country after a cousin of mine who's a bit of a legend around this area, and his favourite saying is What a Great Country. So I've called it What a Great Country. It's for Bradley Smith, my cousin Bradley. Uh, Now, the first song off the album is one called Just Fishing. Now, I wrote that probably 30-something years ago. And it's about the first time I took my boy BJ fishing. We camped and we fished, and so I thought it was just a great experience. So I just put that song together, but it was just sitting there for all those years. And then when we put this album together, I ran it by Rob, the producer. I said, "What do you think about this one?" He said, "That's great. I love it. We'll put that on." So that's just about the boy and his dad going fishing and camping. So it was great. The thing is with that one is we went out to a place called Cecil Plains on the Condamine River, camped the night, and I was just hoping so much that he would catch a fish, but he didn't. I caught the only fish, and only one fish that we got. Yeah, but it was lovely. It was great. It was a great experience for him, and now he's become such a fisherman. He just outfishes me every time now. I don't even like taking him fishing anymore because I just can't catch him the way he does. So I wouldn't say I was a great mentor, but he can fish. So that was how the first song came about. Then the next one that is the single that you've probably got now, it's called "This Precious World." Now I wrote that a long time ago too, after the situation with the Bali bombing and also 9/11. I thought the world's in such a bad state, and a friend of mine suggested that I should write something about that. But people do that when you're a songwriter. People are always saying, you should write a song about this, you should write a song about that. So anyway, I thought, yeah, that's I'll do that. So I put this song almost together, and I called it This Precious World. But it's another one that just sat in the archives for a long, long time. And then I ran it by Rob down at Tamworth, and I said, well, what do you think about this one? And the way the world is going now, too, the way it's just spiralling out of control, I thought, well, it's probably a great time to release that one. So that's how I came to write that one, and that's why we released it now, because I just felt it was a great time to release a song like that, trying to get everyone to pull together and get this world back onto an even keel. So that's those two songs, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I had a chance to listen to them. You got a great voice. I mean, you could never tell that you had throat surgery. I mean, you just sounded amazing. And so, yeah, I mean, I love hearing stories like this because, you are what music is all about, overcoming obstacles and, overcoming, all kinds of crazy things, and, that's just what the music world's all about, facing adversity, overcoming it, continuing with your dreams and never giving up on the hope. And you're a great example. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, your story is just it's so amazing. And I mean, it's a story that a lot more people need to hear about. And so, yeah, let me ask you this. How can our listeners are watching now that will be watching later, how can they get in contact with you to download your amazing music? How can they do that?
You can get it on Spotify. Now, we're only just working this out at the moment because I'm absolutely useless with technology. So I've got my daughter onto it, and it's going to be released on Spotify. Also, you can get in touch with me if you want to get in touch with me personally on rickjgay@gmail.com. If anybody wants to contact me, well, we can work out how to get a copy of the CD to them. So I'll cover the postage, of course. So if anybody's interested in it, the album's called What a Great Country, and it's rickjgay@gmail.com and or on Spotify. So it's probably not on Spotify yet, but I was talking to my daughter yesterday because she's a bit of a whiz with computers and stuff, and I'm certainly not. So she said, "Yeah, I'll get onto that, Dad, soon." So I said, "All right, darling, you do that. Can you do it soon?" She said, "Yeah, I will." Okay. Yeah, so that's the best way of going about it at the moment. So, yeah.
So I noticed that you're not on any social media outlets. Is there plans? Is there plans? To get you up and running on social media? Is that something you're thinking about doing?
That is, yeah. Actually, my missus and I were just talking about just before this call. And she said, "You've got to get up to date with your knowledge of technology and you've got to do these things because it's for you, it's not for anybody else." So I've really got to I've never been interested in, I've always been interested in machinery and trucks and tractors. And that's what I did for a lot of my working life was drove trucks and drove dozers and graders and worked in earth moving. Uh, but now life has changed, so I've just got to get into technology, which I've never been interested in, but I'm told I have to get interested in it. So the boss has spoken, and she must be obeyed.
That's awesome. How did you and Stephen Brady connect?
Just through the album, uh, uh, somebody suggested Blue Shamrock to me, and so I rang Steve, and he's a great bloke, and we had a good old yarn. And he suggested we go this way. So this is the way we're going now. So that's why you've got to hear about me and other people are getting to hear about me. I've got another couple of interviews to do today as well. So it's all good. Yeah. So, but Steve's been a great help to me, like you would not believe. He's excellent. He's just so helpful. So I can't pat him on the back enough.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, he's actually one of our sponsors for the Music Dreams USA Radio. iHeartRadio Artist Spotlight Show. And again, you can watch us every Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. with Blue Shamrock Music. Special thank you to Stephen Brady and Blue Shamrock Music. And as we wind down our show this evening, do you have any hobbies outside of music?
I paint.
You're a painter, huh?
I paint landscapes of Australian bush, and I donate them to charities. So I don't make any money out of it. But I paint and I donate them to PTSD, to people with trauma from ambulance men, policemen, fireys, returned servicemen, whatever. So I've raised a lot of money over the years with my paintings, which is something that's very satisfying. So since I've retired from the workforce, I do my music now and I paint, and then I give the paintings to people and they auction off. So. There's one called Walk Off the Wall that I'm doing now that's going over to Caloundra, and they auction them off and they get a few $1,000s for them each time. So I keep busy doing that. I'm busy at the moment also doing my van up to travel with my music. So I've become the Bob the Builder all of a sudden. So I'm doing that up as well. Yeah, so no, I keep busy.
That's awesome. And what would you say to artists who are watching now? We'll be watching later. What advice could you give to them?
Music-wise or just life-wise?
Both, actually.
Yeah, well, follow your passions. Follow your passions. If you're into music, go for it. Don't wait till you're an old man like me. So I didn't wait till I was an old man. I've been into it for years. I gave it away for those 17 years, but I'm back into it again now. And as far as retiring, I found it so hard to retire. It was something that I really, really found hard. I didn't retire till I was 71, but I was so used to getting up at 5 o'clock every morning and heading off to work at 6 o'clock. And then that part of my life was gone. So all of a sudden I was waking up, I was retired, waking up at 5 o'clock, then I was waking up at 5:30, then I was waking up at 6 o'clock, then I was waking up at 7 o'clock, and I've just become lazy, I think. But yeah, but just follow your dreams. If you got a hobby, do it. Just enjoy your life, and that's the main thing. Enjoy your life. Yeah, what you got, you never know when it's going to be finished. Like I could have been gone. I was so close to being gone with that aneurysm. Uh, as the doctor said, don't ever buy another casket ticket or a lotto ticket because you've had all your luck. And I said, was it that close? And I said, yep, you'd be amazed to know just how close you were to going. So, yeah, just get out and enjoy your life while you got it, because you never know when it's going to finish.
As we wind down right now, is there any final words you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, I'd like you to enjoy my new CD and just follow your passions. Yeah, just that's the main thing. Enjoy the life you've got. Don't dwell on the negatives, dwell on the positives. Negatives just bring you down. So just dwell on the positives and just enjoy your life. Because as I say, you never know when it's going to finish, whether you're old or young.
One last question for you. I forgot to tell you, by the way, when you come to the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show, expect the unexpected. So stay right where you are. We have a surprise for you. All right? We're going to dedicate this song right here to you. Check it out. That's the Beatles for you. I figured, we get the Beatles before we close the show. Let's play the Beatles, the birthday song, in dedication to you, my friend. An amazing story. Your music journey is just beginning, and never give up. You promised me you're never going to give up, and that you're going to continue to share this story with as many platforms that'll have you on their platforms. And we're going to bring you back, by the way. We're going to talk to Steven and have him bring you back for part 2. But happy birthday to you. Blessings to you and your family. And may the good Lord be with you as he continues to bless you with your musical journey. So thank you for all that you do. Thanks for making music great. And it was an absolute pleasure to have you on my show tonight. And without any further, unless you have anything else to say, thank you, my friend. And that's you're a great example of what this show is all about. Our show is especially for people just like you, that is an upcoming aspiring artist that has a story to share. And, you may get a lot of no's, but when you come to Blue Shamrock Music and Music Dreams USA Radio, which is an iHeart radio station, you're not going to get any no's. And you're going to get a station that believes in you. And again, thank you for all that you do. And I cannot wait to have you on our show again, my friend.
Good on you, Russell. That's wonderful. Thank you for having me, mate. It's a real pleasure.
Yes, sir.
A real surprise, a real lovely surprise, and a real pleasure. So thank you.
You're more than welcome, my friend. All right. That was Mr. Rick Gay up in Australia. And if you listened to the show this evening, you heard he overcame throat surgery twice to continue with his musical career. And he's now touring solo, going all over Australia, sharing that amazing voice and his amazing music. What a great story. I mean, this is the reason why we do this show. If you're watching now, or you will be watching later, if you have a story, if you are an upcoming inspiring artist, I encourage you to reach out to Blue Shamrock Music and Mr. Steven Brady. This guy is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, where there seems to be no way, Steven Brady finds a way. And just like tonight's show, right? He found a way to get this amazing artist in front of some major platforms. And we are so glad to have the opportunity to have the interview with Rick Gay. Again, go to blueshamrockmusic.com and reach out to Steven Brady. Again, it's your friend Russell K. make sure you join us. Music Dreams USA Radio. We have now joined iHeartRadio. That's right. We are now an iHeartRadio station. And we have two stations. One on the Radio King and We Love Radio. And the other one is on the iHeartRadio platform. And just go to musicdreamsusa.com and you'll be able to check us out. And we play music back to back and beat to beat from the 70s to current. You don't want to miss it. On tomorrow's morning show, our morning show, Mr. Rick Gay, we're gonna pick one of his songs. And when that song will open up the Russell K. Alexa and Sean and DJ Cassie morning show. And you don't want to miss it. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on musicdreamsusa.com. Until then, it is your friend Russell K. wishing you and yours a very pleasant evening. Thank you so much for spending time with us here. 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. right here on the Music Dreams USA Radio and iHeartRadio YouTube channel. Until the next time, friends, take care, you be safe, and we'll see you soon.